Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 7, Episode 22, DJI Drone Band Update. I am joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford. How are you, sir?
Doing well. I can see I better mute my other screen there, but yeah, got that done. We got a big thunderstorm rolling through here right now, and boy, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening.
Oh, wow. We've had the month of April. We had for 25 days, we had no rainfall at all in April. It's been polar opposite here. It's just been, wow, just very dry. And there's water restrictions and all that kind of stuff. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. I'm going to get in the chat. Let's see who we got here. We got a full house already here tonight. Akarasho, Captain Joe America, CT Pirate, Joan Schatz, Under Oglesby, Bill Thomas, welcome, Bill. Good to see you. John's here tonight. Dr. Ted Richards here. Who else we got? Johnny Droneflyer, welcome, Johnny. Let's see who else. Okay. Hey, Art's back. Welcome, Art. Glad you had a safe trip out to Philippines and back. Good to see you.
Hey, can I clue you in on
you guys on last night?
Yeah, we did a special show, but I need to clue you in on something here, Bill.
What's that?
Johnny Droneflyer earlier. I think he was trying to steal your audience. He was going to go live at 8:30. I said, man, Johnny, I'm going to be on Bill's show. I don't know what you're doing. I think he just got mixed up.
He probably got mixed up in days. Well, it's easy because I really thought, when I logged on for work, I thought it was Monday, and then I get an email. Oh, because our weekly status reports are due on Tuesday. So it's like, I'm like mowing along, and it's like, no, your weekly status report's due today, Bill. And I'm like, huh? It's Monday. No, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Go figure that. So
I'm just giving Johnny a hard time. He knows well. But yes, you're right. A couple of remarks. I had the honor of having lunch with Ted the other day. We had
all right.
Talked about all things drones. But then last night, of course, as you noted, we did. I'll tell you, I know Ron was not planning on a show, but I had been talking to Johnny and to DeMarco earlier in the day, and we all kind of wanted to go live, so we went ahead and did kind of a last minute Drone Nation last night.
Good. I did catch a little bit of it. We were in movie mode yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
And, well, I watched a movie, and we're not talking. This isn't definitely not drones, but I'll tell you what. I saw a movie for the first time, and it just blew me away. It was called The Best Years of Our Lives, and it was done in 1946, right after World War II ended. Okay, and it was about three men coming back from World War II. Okay, Dana Andrews. I don't know if you heard of him, famous actor. Frederick Mark, another famous actor. Myrna Loy. And it was how all three of them adjusted to life. And one of them was actually a disabled vet. He lost his hands during the war. He really was. And he wasn't an actor. That swept the Academy Awards that year. That got Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. I mean, it just completely swept that year and did fantastic at the box office. I've never seen it before. And it made me think, because I know your dad was in the service too. It made me think what it was like for my dad when he came back from over in World War II. See, he came back. His mom died when he was like 3 or 4. His birth mom. Okay.
Oh goodness.
And his dad passed away from a heart attack in 1940. Okay. So, and then his sister was sent over to Europe to be raised by relatives. Well, she came back like right as World War II was starting. He barely had time to meet her. She didn't know any English because she was over in Czechoslovakia. And then he only had her and then my soon-to-be uncle to come home to. That was it. No other family. I mean, other than, like cousins or godparents or things. So it was real different for him. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Nostalgic here. So, all right. enough of that. Art's back. Good to see you're back, Art. Glad you had a safe trip. Watching your pictures, looks like you had a fantastic time out there. First thing that I want to talk about tonight is we are we are on the cusp of the cusp of June. I'm sorry. Okay. We're on the cusp of June here. And with that, from everything that our good friends at Spectre are telling me, we're going to see the Spectre Mini is going to officially come out. And also with the Spectre Mini, we're going to see accessories, not only for the Spectre Mini, but for the Spectre Air as well. And I'm told it's going to be, right in June. So, that's coming up. That's this weekend. So I'm excited about that. And I got an update to tell you. Okay. I took the Mini out again for a flight, and this was really cool. All right. Now I got to use my Samsung S22 Galaxy phone to do it because I have a Z Fold, and that's not going to work. All right. So I'm flying it. We're chumming along. Everything's fine. Not having a problem at all. Okay. And I like to go up and do the fountain at the entrance to our development here. Okay. It popped up on my phone. Now it was 95 outside. Popped up on my phone cooling down. I go, okay, no problem. I get up there and I'm turning around and I'm trying to get a good shot of the fountain. Okay. It says app shutting down. Boom. Completely shut off. The phone overheated.
Oh, wow.
Completely overheated. So what I did was, I always wear my DJI mic now. So I said, no, we're going to the car. So I went into the truck, turned it on, got the air conditioning on. It wasn't working. I had it on there for like 3 or 4 minutes. And I knew the drone was fine. Okay. It wasn't going to go anywhere. All right. So I'm like 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't cooling down. So I got out and I hit return to home on the controller, came home like a champ.
Brought it back. Sure.
But I was surprised because, because I've had that. See, I use that phone for my B-roll all the time, and it sits out there in the sun all the time. And why this time it chose to overheat, it really kind of boggles my mind. The only thing I can think of is because I had the app open and it was doing processing, it probably kicked it up a notch and it probably got too hot.
Let me ask you, Bill, were you doing a screen recording at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, that does. I know that affects my iPhone sometimes because I often do a screen recording. But what you see on an iPhone is of course, the screen will just dim to the point that you can't see it anymore. I have never had it shut down an app, but boy, I've sure had it get that screen very, very dark.
Now, I had that happen with my iPad Mini. This is back our 2 houses ago, okay? I was out there flying the Phantom 4 Pro, and it was on its way back. Everything was fine. You heard the beep, beep and all that, and then my iPad Mini completely shut down.
So, Bill, a lot of the people that are serious gamers where they play games on their mobile device, there's for a lot of different phones, you can get a fan that glues on the back and helps keep them cool because they're doing those games. Obviously, it's a lot of intense processing as well. Obviously, we can't do that with a drone because the drone is mounted on the controller. But
it's mounted on the controller. Now, I did see, and this was, I looked up back in the day when the iPad overheated. They actually have cooling pads that pilots use. Professional pilots, because they use iPads, usually iPad Minis, because it's easier for them, especially with like sectional charts and everything. They don't have to take out a paper chart. It's on there for them, but they have a tendency to overheat as well. But these are super cooling pads, and they did a fantastic job. They were like about $200. Okay. I'd actually considered getting one, but what I did was from that then on in, I went on the porch to fly. Okay. I would take off from where the hot tub was. Then I'd go over to the porch. I'd be out of direct sunlight. Okay. And out of direct sunlight, it was fine. It never overheated after that. I
have a product that I've never tried, and I need to try it sometimes. It's a little gel pack that sticks, and it's reusable, sticks to the back of your phone. And I think it just acts like another heat sink to absorb some of that heat. I need to try it one of these days. I've never tried it.
See, and also too, and we'll move on to the next subject here, but there is a famous Chinese, the Japanese are the ones that are known for making great ham radios. Okay, Chinese, not so much, but they're making some inroads. Well, this one, a previous model ago, people had to build or fashion a heat sink for it because the heat distribution from it was so poor that it would overheat all the time. So, it's one of those things you have to be really careful. Well, now, and they produced a new model, and there's no problem with the upgraded model with that. So, okay,
Well, you just made me think of something else very quickly, Bill.
Sure.
We talk about you mentioned the Chinese radios, etc. We're all often, our government is worried about competition from Japan, Japanese electric car, or excuse me, from China, Chinese electric cars, etc. I think about drones. There's really only two companies of all those products that come out of China. There's quality control issues with all of them, with the exception of DJI and to a lesser extent Autel. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it the same? We're all getting fired up about their electric cars. Is it the same thing with them? I mean, are they as good as like a Tesla or I wonder about that.
That's a really good point. And I know, because I follow Elon Musk on Twitter. I know you're on Twitter as well too. And I follow him, and I'm really interested because he has a vested interest, of course, in this. And he's watching this closely as well too. So, and that's what, and we're going to talk about the whole CCP
anyway,
here in a little bit.
Didn't mean to go.
No, that's a good point. One of the articles I did see, Insta360's thumb-sized wearable action camera Go 3 falls to its lowest price ever, which I thought, well, okay. So, when you see this, apparently, their sales really must not be that good when they're doing. And, I see this, Marcus, more often than not with Insta360. Not long after a product comes out, they're dropping the price. I'm finding that a lot with this,
So, Bill, that is a niche camera. I've got a Go 2, and I don't use it for anything. Just a couple of different, when I go to the drag strip and a couple other places I use it at. But when I need it, I'm glad to have it. So I wonder, if it's probably kind of the same thing with this. Otherwise we're using, a lot of people use GoPros or action style cameras like the Action 4. But that is interesting. Like you said, I think it's probably not selling like they want. I wonder, is this one that the FPV guys use?
I think so, because there's a picture of it with a drone, but I don't recognize the drone there. And it's a 21% discount with this. Daily vlogging, adventure sports. The magnetic body allows you to easily attach the camera to helmets, surfboards, or handlebars, ensuring you never miss a moment of action. Robust waterproofing up to 16 feet and flow state stabilization. Creative angles. Yeah. And then it has a list of accessories. But I just thought it was real interesting that, and you're right. You hit a good point on this, Marcus. It's a real niche with this camera. Okay. It's not something that everybody's going to use. Like, this would be good, like, if you were into radio control cars, radio controlled off-roading, and maybe even RC planes. This would be a good option for that.
So I also wonder, I can tell you the Go 2 that I have, man, we were just talking about overheating. Oh, I mean, that son of a gun will overheat in an instant. And I'm wondering if this Go 3, if it has an improvement in that feature, etc.
It'd be interesting to find that out. I don't know, but it's just like you said. I think because this is such a niche market and doesn't really hit everybody. I mean, 21% is pretty substantial in terms of a discount. So, I mean, it's I'm just kind of a little flabbergasted by this because I know it didn't come out all that long ago.
So we got a couple. We got Koopy in the chat, and we got Eddie Nunez in the chat. Do you guys use this Insta360 for getting better quality FPV video? Just curious.
Yeah, if you guys go ahead and drop that in.
So, if somebody wants to block Talman Drone Man Murphy, that'd be fine with me.
Yes, any of you who have moderator authority, please go and do so. All right. Well, we're gonna move on here from that. Here's Ron. Hey, sir, how are you?
Hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Good. How was your holiday?
Good, Bill. How was yours?
Good. We had a they had a party up at the, well, I don't want to call it a party, but there was a cookout up at the pool area, sponsored by the restaurant on site, and they had a DJ there playing some old oldies and classics and stuff. So we had a good time. It was a lot of fun yesterday.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Just finishing
What
up
are we
on
talking
the
about tonight, gentlemen?
Well, we're just finishing up. The first thing we're really talking about here, Insta360's Go 3 got price slash 21%.
Again. I think that was through last week. Did it go even lower?
Yeah, and I'm kind of, I was telling Marcus, and he and I were talking. Really, I think he really kind of hit the nail on the head. This camera is a real niche kind of camera. It's probably ideal for those who would do maybe radio controlled cars, trucks, radio controlled off-roading, RC planes, maybe some FPV drones.
Our friend Barry Markowitz is a big fan of these type of cameras. He calls them POV, where he wears them and gets these kind of unique shots.
So I just, we asked that question from Koopy and Eddie, and John is saying that it's priced too high for that reason. And Eddie's comment that you just had highlighted there, Bill, did they send you one? They sent them out to almost every influencer out there.
No, I didn't get one. I didn't get one. No,
Eddie got one. I got one. You see a bunch of videos out now.
Does Brian Singleton have them? The king of
Brian Singleton did, absolutely. Okay. He got one as well. Yeah, a lot of folks. Yeah, your friend up in New Jersey, Bill.
Rick Smith.
Yeah, Rick Smith. He got one.
Well, Rick has another channel now.
No,
it's called Gadget Hero. He has and he does. Well, see, that's a good, because he does gadgets all the time, and he would do that like between drone releases. So he just went ahead and created another channel, and he's putting all that content out there, and he's getting it. It's getting kicked up. He has about 2,500 subscribers.
Good.
So he's making a pretty good go of it. So but yeah, it's called Gadget Heroes. For those of you who haven't don't know that, I found it. You know how I found it? Okay. I bring the YouTube feed up. I'm looking at the page, and then I'm looking at a thumbnail, and I'm like, you know what? There's only one or two people that use that kind of font. And I'm like, Gadget Hero. I said, I know who that is instantly. And I knew it was Chris. So wow. yeah, I found that. So
hey, back to the Insta360 Go for a second, Bill. Do you think that price reduction kind of hints at a Go 4 coming in the near future, maybe going into the fall?
Yeah, I would think so. And like Marcus said, he said that the previous models have had a tendency to overheat as well too. So there may be some kind of an issue with it overheating.
Well, any tiny camera that's trying to shoot at a high resolution and a high frame rate is going to suffer this.
It's going to have
not
that
an Insta360 problem. It's not a DJI problem. It's anybody that tries to make a very small camera shoot at a high resolution like 4K or 2.7, I think in this case, and do the high frame rates and not have it in a lot of moving air.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Ron. You as you were saying that, I was thinking about our drones, and there's some pretty small cameras on our drones, but the difference is they're moving through space.
Yeah, and I bet you the overheating issues don't come when it's attached to a drone in flight.
That's possible.
Yeah, because once it's moving, it's getting air through it. So it's the just simple right here. Yeah. Next thing I want to go over here is how to use automatic tracking follow me mode on DJI drones. This was an article out on Drone DJ, and I thought this was good to go ahead and share. And I want to make sure that especially for new people, I think this is a real good kind of primer tutorial kind of thing. with automatic tracking, and best DJI drones for automatic subject tracking, Mini 4 Pro, Air 3, Mavic 3 Pro.
And tracking is a very required feature, Bill, for a lot of users out there.
Exactly. Okay. Follow me mode, what every drone pilot should know. How to use focus track on a DJI drone. Okay. And this is really good. Entering focus track, spotlight, active track, trace mode, parallel mode. This is really good. This is like one of the first times I've seen all this information contained.
Real quick, it just made me think, Marcus, what's the cheapest DJI drone you can get focus track on?
Gosh, at this point, if you can still get it as a refurb, that would probably be the Air 2S.
So the Mini 3 doesn't, the plain Mini 3 doesn't have focus
the
tracking?
plain Mini 3 does not have it.
Okay.
You can just, all DJI drones, they never put that stuff on anything that does not have OA on it.
Right.
So
thank you.
Yeah, I guess
sorry to cut you off, Bill.
Yeah.
I just wondered what the barrier to entry was, or the price to entry was on focus tracking.
Yeah, that's a real good point here. But of course, this article's bookmarked out on Build a Drone Review Facebook group. So especially for those of you, or if you know somebody that wants to get into this and is having questions about it, this is a real good bookmark reference to kind of keep tabs on this article. So please make sure that if you go ahead, grab that link, get it out there. And here's what I'll do. I have that super long URL. It's out on Build a Drone Review Facebook group. So grab this. But I just wanted to call this to your guys' attention, especially if you know somebody that's trying to do this. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I just was going to say, it is one of my all-time favorite features on DJI drones. It allows guys like me, that I'm not the best stick man in the world, to get amazing shots, because it'll keep that camera right on whatever your point of interest is, and then you just fly the drone. You can get some really remarkable shots with
and
that.
A couple of people have done tutorials like showing the drone where they show how you can use focus track, and then to the drone's locked in the target, but also they move the drone up and down with the sticks.
Right.
It's one focus track to even get more dynamic shots.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
it is here. Next article we're going to go over here. DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise Drone Series now supports high precision geometric flights, which I thought is real interesting.
But what is geometric flights? What's that mean?
Okay, and I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring the article up because it does explain it here. And this is right up my son-in-law's alley, because this is what he does every day when he goes and flies here. Latest feature with a firmware update makes building 3D missions easier than ever, allowing users to create detailed flight plans in the DJI Flight Hub 2 cloud-based drone operations management platform. Once designed, these missions can be seamlessly transferred to the drone's controller for execution. Okay, so basically, like my son-in-law, what he does, and he uses a Matrice to do this. He doesn't use a Mavic 3 Enterprise, but he could, and he maps these areas out, and then when they go to fly them to get points for his, the company he works for, they do underground utilities, and it has to be precision. All right, all this is mapped out. He hits a couple of buttons, the drone flies itself. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And this is part of what's done with this, is to map this out. Now, he does have to go and fly a mapping mission, but after he's done with that and he gets these points, once he gets the points, then it does everything automatically. And it's amazing the amount of detail my son-in-law says that you get back from this. The data is just absolutely incredible. But this is now, because this was on the Matrice series of drones, now they're offering a Mavic 3 Enterprise, which I think is real interesting. Okay, so it makes it a little bit more affordable for maybe smaller companies.
Bill, what's the price difference between the Matrice series and the Mavic 3 Enterprise series?
That's a good question.
Is it like double the price or triple the price, or?
I would say at least double. Yeah. Because I think, if you're looking to get a Matrice like my son-in-law flies, and I'm not sure which one he flies, I think it's about 25, 30K, all topped out with all the bells and whistles on it. Right, and I think these Mavic 3 Enterprise drones are around 15 or so. So
off the subject a little bit, is the Mavic 3 Enterprise, is that the drone that Oh, what color is it? Is that the green? The green drone, the white label DJI drone? Is that what?
No, that's the one Randall Warnes is doing.
Yeah, but I mean, does that
Robotics.
copy the Mavic 3 Enterprise? Is that what's the clone of?
I would probably venture a guess and say yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But the software is vastly different. Okay, because the software is done, from my understanding, here in the United States. And one of the other things
isn't it by one of the known companies like Drone Deploy or something?
There's I think Drone Deploy does that.
Guys.
And what's real interesting, I read Anzu Robotics only has one employee, and that's Mr. Warnes. Okay, that's it.
Well,
they don't have any other
it makes the guy doing the payroll. He's got an easy job.
He's got a real easy job. You know, can pretty much. I can write my own check. How would you like to have that? I mean, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's one of those. How would you like to have that kind of a thing? So, interesting update. Found this on Drone XL today, and I think I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Let's go ahead and get this up here. DJI Avata 2 firmware update, 4K 100 frames per second.
Yes.
Right.
This was May 28th, so this was today.
Today, right.
A lot happened today, Bill. This came out, the Fly app got updated, and the Mimo app got updated.
Ron, did you tell him the big news though? No more P mode. It now has an N at the top.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know that the P mode's going.
It just cracked me up. There were so many reviews of that update, and that was the big news. They changed the P to an N.
Guess what? I never had that P because I never did the last update.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. They did some things with the what do they call their app? CapCut, or I can't remember their editing app.
Oh yeah, that got updated too.
Yeah, they added some stuff to that. Yeah.
But back to Bill's thing here. Yeah, the big news is the 4K 100 frames per second on this Avata. So for people that I guess like to slow things down, slow motion.
You know who I thought of first when I saw that, Ron? Quite frankly, it was you at the ocean there in some of those wave shots that you get.
Right, but I'm also going to need my proper ND filters on there from either Freewell or Start RC.
Right, yeah.
And Bill's getting to the point now the goggles and controllers have, I won't say better compatibility, but more compatibility.
I don't want to rain on your parade, Bill, but yeah, I know Johnny was not real happy because he was hoping to be able to use his goggles 3 with his O3 Air unit, and we didn't get that.
And also, Johnny wasn't too happy because Johnny kept the DJI FPV controller with hoping that would work with the the Avata 2, but this update will allow that, but you have to fly it with the Integra goggles and not the goggles 3. But Johnny's already sold his Integra goggles.
Right.
So in other words, Bill, this update is not any good unless you own almost every piece of equipment because you got to mix and match it.
Well, let's talk about who it is good for. It's probably good for the person that already has an Avata with those goggles and all that stuff and the motion controller too, and they want to get an Avata 2. They could buy just the drone, right?
Johnny asked that question. I never researched it. Day one, you could not just buy the drone. Today, can you buy just the Avata 2?
You know what? While we're talking, let me look on DJI's website, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, that is a good question.
And Bill, the thing about not being able to use the goggles 3 to use, the DJI PV controller. I mean, the goggles 3 is one of the main reasons you buy the Avata 2. So the downgrade to either using the Integras or the goggles 2 isn't going to work for a lot of folks like Marcus, who only sees properly out of the goggles 3. He doesn't want to go backwards and use a lesser goggle.
So Ron, here you go. You're absolutely right. All you can do is reserve it. It just says reserve now.
Now it will be available someday. That could be tomorrow. That could be next week, or it could be 6 months from now. But it will be available eventually. Yeah. That's all we can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real interesting.
And
here.
probably the reason it's not available today to buy solo is they're probably still selling a VOD 2 so quick that they don't want to like not sell kits.
Right, and what they have to do is they probably have them all together in a bundle, okay, and they don't want to have to break these bundles up right now.
Well, once sales slow down, if they're not selling the kits faster they can make them, then they'll offer as a standalone.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're.
Marcus has a point.
Here, let me tell you. I think what happened is that they might have sold them out real quick because both Koopy and Johnny are saying that they did see it available, and I looked just now and it just said reserve. So
yeah, I mean that could be possible too, but I mean that's not good for consumers. That's not good for consumers either if they only release a small batch of them.
Yeah.
And I think John's right. I think
what Koopy's saying too.
Yeah, I think they sold out. I think it went just like that. Okay, and it's like it's the same thing like during a release. If there's a hot accessory or something that a lot of people want to get, you have to jump on that right away. Okay, and because if you don't, by the time you hit the button again, it'll be gone.
Well, they've been getting better, Bill, but you're right. It seems like they're kind of getting better at keeping a supply of that stuff. But you're absolutely right. If you see it and you want it, jump on it.
But you got just by judging for people I see having the VOD 2, the VOD 2 probably even exceeded their sales expectations.
Yeah.
Would you say so, Marcus?
Yes. I think Bill, you're the only guy I know that didn't buy one. I think.
I'm gonna, my birthday is, I want to say next month. I'm thinking it's June. My birthday's in July. My birthday's in July. Hello, Valerie, if you're watching. No, I'm just.
Yeah.
In real trouble.
It's less than 1,000. And Bill, did you have to see my latest video I just put out today? Even if you don't like the look of FPV, you could put it in horizon mode, and Marcus could tell you it just looks like I'm flying like the Mini 4 Pro around or something.
See, that's why I want to watch your video. I haven't had time to do that, but yeah, that's one of the things that I want to do is go ahead and watch your video.
I have to confess, Ron, I haven't tried that yet, but I did watch your video, and it looked really good.
There's nothing you have to do except put in horizon mode. Now, when you're looking through the goggles, the horizon won't be studied.
Right.
That does it all in fact or whatever. When you're flying, you still think you're flying FPV drone. It's, doing all this, but when you get off the memory card, it looks like you got a camera drone.
It processes the video. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And see, that excites me. It's not that I don't want one. Okay, I want to be real clear about that.
And tell them the other part, Marcus. I also, by mistake, actually, I shot in D-Log-M, and I used DJI's own correction lot to fix it. But did you see the dynamic range in that?
It looked really good. Hey, I'm going to agree with Koopy that one you just had up, Bill. And then that's why I've never tried it, because when I'm flying the Avata, I like that FPV look. But Ron, your point is well taken.
I explained in the video. I said, what if you're in a situation where you're making you want to record something for your like my Margate people. My Margate people don't know anything about FPV. They don't even know what that means or whatever. They just want to see a regular camera drone shot. And what if I don't have a camera drone with me?
Yeah,
the Avata 2 can be a camera drone. They know a civilian won't know whether it was a camera drone or FPV drone took that thing. But a lot of people that watch me that aren't drone channels, the drone fans, they don't want to see a bunch of swooping around.
Hey, can I answer Ted Bowman's question there?
Yes,
go for it.
So many drones, so little cash. Ted, buy some NVIDIA stock.
Ted, for every drone you buy, sell an old one off.
There you go. Yeah, he does that. He does.
Okay.
Marcus is a stock trading advisor. Okay, your other channel. Okay. But you're right. Okay, that's pretty hot stock. I'll tell you that. So, but yeah.
And Matty's drone world put a link up for a Avata 2 only drone.
Yeah, that's a drone
nerds.
Yeah, from Drone Nerds. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I like Dr. Ted's comment.
Yeah, he says he's got AMD. AMD is another good one.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the big thing of the day here, and I spent my lunchtime watching this video from Russ. Okay, and Russ does a great job all the time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and what he said was, I had found out about this last week. I was wondering what the whole gist of this was. Okay. And it was this, and I want to get the name correctly here. Joe Bartlett. Okay. Now, Joe Bartlett is the vice chair of Defense Advocacy Committee of AUVSI, the folks who say they do not support an all-out immediate ban at DJI. Yet email the state senator in Utah congratulating supporting legislation for the immediate ban of DJI products in that state. Okay. Where did he work? The U.S. House of Representatives is a national security advisor to our good friend in the state of New York.
Stefanik.
Okay. Elise Stefanik. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
There it is right there. Okay.
Russ is connecting the dots, Bill.
The smoking gun.
And the
The
connected
smoking
dots.
gun. It's here. Okay. It's unequivocally here. Okay. And well, you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm surprised. And this is just me. Okay. Because this is such a hot topic that like YouTube or Facebook or something isn't canceling these videos. Okay. Seriously, you know, censorship. That's just, I don't know. But no, you know, Russ was spot on with this article. He didn't miss a beat with this. Okay. And I had read about this last week, but he put this in, you know, he put this out in video form here.
Right.
And,
He also mentioned in the video about the tariffs, the 30% tariff going up 5% a year until it reaches.
I made some notes.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go.
And by the way, Ron, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to go live yesterday on Drone Nation. It's one of the subjects we talked about yesterday. But the tariff. Okay, there's already, I believe it's a pardon me, already a 10% tariff on Chinese drones, as it is.
Is that a general tariff for Chinese products or just drone?
I can't say.
Okay.
Ron, I'm not sure, but I know that's where. So there's already a tariff on Chinese drones.
Right.
Now, what they're going to do is start this thing at 30%. So you add 30% on top of that.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And then you add 5% a year till it reaches 50%. Now there's another kicker. So in other words, in 4 years, it would reach 50%, right?
Right.
So there's another kicker though. There's an additional $100 on top of that. And so where does that bring your Mavic 3 Pro if you bought it 4 years from now? Currently $2,200 for the base kit. That takes it up to $3,400. And so you can kind of do that math on
What's that do the bill $799?
Yeah. And then so the name of the bill is the drones for first responders, which is just it's ridiculous because that expires. I think it's either 4 or 5 years. That part of it expires, so then that money doesn't go to them. And also, by the way, a bunch of that money goes.
All that tariff money is going to first responders.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That so to help them buy drones. And
who keeps that extra $100 at the end?
Okay. Okay. She proposes a 30% tariff on all Chinese-made drones with a 5% increase every year until it gets to 50%, plus an additional $100, like you said. She claims the money will help first responders, farmers, infrastructure agents in America purchase American-made drones. Good Lord. What a pile of dung. Good Lord.
So the purpose of tariffs is to give your domestic businesses a chance if they're behind on something or so forth.
Or a little startup America drone companies a fighting chance, huh?
But there is in the enterprise space, there's no question. Right. However, in the consumer space,
what about the consumers?
It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Well, you know, and I want to say this, and I want to inject this. You know, Russ is spot on here with all this too, but I think there are multiple players in this, and I think that one is that Adam Bry, okay, from Skydio. All right.
Right.
He's had his hands in the cookie jar on this big time with Elise Stefanik, okay, because he's the one that's been sounding the alarm about this for like forever, okay. And you know what? Here's what I have to say to Adam, okay. You can't hold, okay. your company was doing so well, you had to cancel your consumer drone business. Okay. Hello. Okay. Your company was
Well, and because you made a far inferior product to DJI is
yeah.
you know.
I mean, seriously. Okay. Here's the other thing. And I know, Marcus, I think somebody had asked you this question in one of your videos, or I think it was from last night from Drone Nation. All the components for Skydio come from China.
Well, many
They're
of them,
here.
yeah, yeah,
They're assembled here, but
yeah.
all of them come from China.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
that's the other thing about it is that also critical components can't come from China. After 5 years, at the end of that, it's just a pure ban. You can't get those critical components, or you can't buy a Chinese drone. And what that does is, even to the FPV pilots and stuff, you can't buy a motor, you can't buy a camera, you can't buy a motherboard, you can't buy a GPS unit, you can't, and on and on.
All taking a bet that in those 4 years, that all those things will be made in America affordably and in great supply.
Yeah, I would hope. And thank you, John, for putting that in that link in there. Yeah,
and John, thank you. I was gonna echo that. Okay, go out there, and what it does is, all right, if you haven't done this already, you put your city and your zip code in, and boom, it finds your representative. It's a pre-printed thing. It's all ready to go. All you got to do is fill out your information and boom, send it off. But the other thing that I would do is, I believe it has listed your excuse me, your congressman's phone number. Call them up beyond the email. When you follow it up with a phone call, okay, you won't talk to them. You'll talk to one of their aides, but you leave a message regarding this. All right. And the more that they get logged, the better.
Right. Hey, in a comment, Richard makes he says they want the drone hobbies out of the sky. And Russ makes that point in the video that we're talking about here. Russ said he's finally come to agreement that most of this is just to get us out of the sky.
I'm sorry. I think that's kind of, I don't disagree with that entirely, Richard. I just was reading in the chat, Bill. Evidently, we misunderstood what that fellow earlier was saying. Vertical space imaging.
Vertical space imaging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we misunderstood what he was saying. So I don't think it's a permanent ban. I think that expires, doesn't it? So with his other channel, he'll be able to.
Yeah, I think it has a limit of like 5 minutes or something. So apologies regarding that. We apologize about that.
Yeah.
So, but and I'm going to continue this discussion here. All right. With our good friends at Specta. Okay, with the Specta Air and the Specta Mini. All right. And one of the
label drones, as they're called.
Right, they're white label, but and the thing is, okay, these are made in Malaysia. Okay, they're the Cogito Specta is in Hong Kong. That's their headquarters. All right, but these are all made in Malaysia. So,
Bill, how fast would it take Miss Defiant to grab that bill back and cross out China and write China and Malaysia in it?
Well, I don't know if they would do that, but Ron, I'm willing to bet that a lot of those critical components that they're talking about.
Especially when you can explain to Miss Defiant that they're trying to backdoor us and bring Chinese technology in through his. In other words, we're helping DJI by doing these white label drones. So I'm sure that's not going to make her too happy.
Right.
So you make a good point, Ron. That's what I keep wondering about, like that Anzu drone. No matter what, it may be assembled in Malaysia, but it's going to have Chinese components in there that are going to make it face the same thing. So I don't know.
Michael Wright sent me. Michael, thank you for this article. Sent me a great article from the New York Times. Okay, now I have a filter on. Okay, when I read publications, all right, and I have a filter on when I read the New York Times because and I'm not getting political here, but they have a tendency to be slanted, all right. But I read this with an open eye, and the article was about Anzu Robotics. It was about Randall Warness, okay, and that's where I found out, and I read it, that he's technically the only employee of them, okay, and it talked in detail how. And it showed, there were a lot of pictures in this article. It was a great article. I will say that it was not It was not. It was apolitical. It really didn't go one side or another. Okay, it was just telling his story, and it was a very good article, and I take that to heart. And I'm hoping he has success with this. Okay, and see, this is the thing here. This is such a fine line, such a gray area with all of this right now. Okay, and I think Russ kind of said it best. He said his gut feeling is nothing's going to really come of this. Okay. Because, and we've said this before too, this is really saber rattling. Okay. After all, it's an election year. Okay. And I don't know if Stefaniak is going to be running again or not, but some of these are, and some of these congressmen are. And, they need to understand something. When you call up, so, you are my congressman. Okay. And if you're up for reelection, hello, I may not vote for you. Okay. That throws some work behind it. When you
and Bill, these people are supposed to be, a lot of times they're called representatives because they represent the people that voted in. Who, what do you call the people? I'm trying to think of the proper word or whatever.
Obvious.
Yeah. How many of her or anybody's voters are calling that phone up daily and requesting that she ban DJI drones? She's doing something that her constituents don't even ask her to do.
Yeah,
at least I bet you
probably
talk about roads and all
there's
sorts
so
of
much
stuff that
more
are real everyday
going on,
whatever.
taxation,
Who's
inflation.
their phone asking for drones to be banned?
Yeah, there's crime, there's taxation, there's inflation. There's a whole host of stuff, and yet you're concerned about this, and you're concerned.
You're moving all that stuff down the list and moving drones to the top. That isn't even the concern of the average person.
Yeah.
So let's back up just a little bit. You guys remember when we first got the blue drones?
Yeah, Skydio
drones. I'm old. Pardon me. When Skydio first came out, hey, I was thrilled because all of a sudden we were going to have a U.S. designed, at least assembled drone in the U.S. available to us as consumers and on the enterprise level.
Yeah.
But boy, did that backfire on us.
Yeah.
That just backfired, and I sure couldn't have predicted it at the time.
But Bill, how about Bill's comment up? How about this? That Randall met with Stefanik for an hour, and she basically ignored him.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Oh yeah.
And by the way, Randall Warnes is going to be on Captain Ray's show on Thursday night.
Good.
Oh, that'll be good.
People like Stefanik, they probably never let the facts get in the way of a good campaign issue or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: I've listened to Randall Warnes before. I've watched him, and he's very articulate, very well spoken. He's not one of these. He's not a fly by night kind of guy. Okay,
right,
he's the real deal. All right, and he got the shaft at Autel because he was trying to do things the right way, and Autel didn't want to do things the right way, so they parted ways rather quickly. But he's onto something here with Anzu Robotics, okay? And I personally think, and I'm going to agree 100% with Russ, it is much ado about nothing. But as I say that, okay, I have the Spectre Mini, okay, that's mine. I have the Spectre Air, that's mine, okay. I'm going to be getting extra batteries for both, okay. And if the bottom should fall out, I at least have these two drones, okay, that they're quote unquote made in Malaysia, so they're not made in China, so.
I'm sure we'll still be able to fly our existing DJI drones, but yeah, the whole thing is, they what we look forward to is that they keep improving them and making them better.
Mark, you're still about flying our current drones. If Stefanik's bill would pass, how soon do you think we would see that tariff, that 30% tariff? Do you think that could be before the end of the year if it passed?
I suppose it could. I mean, once they put it in the what do they call it, the National Register or whatever, when it gets printed in there, yeah.
So in other words, if the Air 4 doesn't get the 30% tariff, grab that drone because it may be your last affordable drone.
Well, I think Koopy made that point the other day that DJI will be pumping out drones so that they can get in front of the.
What does it mean? We kind of already suspect the Air 4 coming. So, you know, I wonder if they have a better handle on when this, if the tariff does get passed, when it will actually go in effect.
See, and I'm going to say this, okay? I think the lobbyists or whoever, okay, is behind all of this. They picked Stepaniak on purpose because it sounds like she's not running for re-election, okay? So she's really a lame duck, okay? I mean, she could literally, do whatever here, all right?
Right.
All right? And she's the one, she's taking all the heat for this, all right? But yet, she's not running for re-election. So she has really, quote unquote, nothing to lose with all of this when she does all this.
And hers is hers just a DJI drone tax, or will my Action 5 be have a 30% tariff also?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or my Pocket 4?
Yeah, because it's a DJI product. I don't know the answer to that either, Ron. Let me ask you, Bill. I didn't know that she was not running again. So, will we see her as a lobbyist in next
You've been a very wealthy lobbyist, Marcus.
Yeah, she probably. Yeah, it's like, okay, what is it? I don't know if you guys saw the Ocean's movies with Matt Damon and George Clooney and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, and Al Pacino, or not Al Pacino, but what's his name? Andy Garcia says to them in the first movie, "I'll be real disappointed if I see you pulling out of a dealership in California with a Lamborghini or Ferrari." Okay, and it's the same thing here. Okay, it's Stepaniak when her last day, she'll go to the Lamborghini dealership and buy their most expensive one in powder blue. I mean, seriously here. I mean, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of money changing hands here, and everybody in the chat is talking about that. And you're right. Okay. It's all about money, but you know what?
I'd like to see Stefani shows the emails or stale mails or phone call records of all the people that contacted her saying that DJI drones should be banned. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that list. I bet you, it could all fit in one page, or so, will it be 5, 10? I mean,
Adam Bry. No.
Yeah. Maybe some random Karen.
But yeah, and I'm gonna go. I'm really, my gut feeling with all of this is what Russ had to say. It really, this is really just going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're doing a lot of saber rattling here because it's an election year. They're trying to stir the pot up about something. All right, but okay. And I want to go back, and I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the movie about Snowden, about Edward Snowden?
Oh yeah, it's a great film. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Your government does spy on you in case you weren't aware of all that.
Snowden proved it. Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's probably cameras in our televisions that watch us and listen to everything we say and do. So I mean, it's like whatever. But the thing is this, okay. This is really just a lot of saber rattling in an election year. It's drawing a lot of attention to this, and I think it's going to go by the wayside. I really do. Okay, I really think calmer heads will prevail. The bill is going to die a death. It'll be political suicide for them to go ahead and pass this bill, especially regarding first responders. Okay. And what do we do? Okay. Do we file a form with the government? Say, well, I have $25,000 worth of DJI drones. Are you going to reimburse me for it?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
What's that word? Is there going to be drone reparations, Bill?
Yeah, drone reparations. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They gave us.
Can I turn all my drones in and get reparated?
A drone stimulus check. Okay. For all the drones that we bought.
Yeah.
And
let me make my own price of my. My drones are worth a lot of money, Bill. A lot of money.
Yeah. It's going to be. We're going to find out here coming up shortly. And let me put it to you this way: you guys brought up a good point with us on the cusp of a DJI Air 4. Okay, if DJI, and I think DJI knows what's going on behind the scenes. They have a lot more insight than we do. All right, because we're not privy.
Well, remember, they're getting all that spy stuff from the Chinese military. They know exactly what's going on.
Oh,
They have all the drone footage.
You know what? Okay, they don't need drones to get our infrastructure. Okay, they have incredible satellites up. They have a space station of their own. A lot of people don't know that, but the Chinese have a space station of their own. Yeah. It's fully operational up there. Okay. And, you know, and their ability and their technical ability is every bit as good or maybe even surpasses us. So, you know, this whole talk about this, you know, privacy and stealing data and infrastructure and all that, it's a bunch of hogwash. Okay. I mean, back in the 60s when they did U-2 flights, okay, they were able to get, quote unquote, they said you could see a match lighting a cigarette from 80,000 feet. All right. So, I mean,
if it's not hogwash, send us all the hard copy data of all the spying incidents or whatever. Send us a hard copy of all the evidence.
Yeah.
That the DJI drones are sending sensitive data back to Chinese military. Just show me it on paper.
Show me the money. Okay.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Yeah,
Look at Michael's quote.
I have an open mind. If you show me that they have computer rooms filled of footage from my drones or whatever, and the military has it, I'm willing to listen. I do have one thing to say. If they slap that 30% tariff on the Air 4, I'm sticking with the Air 3, Bill. I'm not.
We got the Air 3. We got the Air 3. So, yeah, you know, there are ways around that. Okay, because you could probably buy it off of somebody in Canada and have.
I'm going to drive up to Canada. It's not that far. Me and Ted will jump in the car. We'll drive up to Canada. We'll buy.
I'll have somebody at the border just pass it over to me.
Yeah. Or just have a drone flight over the border and drop it. Okay. Yeah. So
you know, maybe our friend Lauren, he could open up a drone store right at the Canadian border, and you know,
right, to point where he can almost throw them across the river to me or something. Or what? Hey, Bill, we could take a little Caribbean cruise or whatever, right to the Bahamas and pick one duty free at the duty free shop.
That's right. Well, I saw this was too funny. Okay, completely unrelated. Well, I just want to real quick sidebar. One of my ham radio friends was going on a cruise, okay? And the cruise line he went on, they don't allow you to take ham radios. And really, you know, it's the hand talkies.
Right,
okay? It's
right.
Walkie-talkie, but they're ham radios. And I laugh, and a good friend of mine and stuff. I'm like, who would you talk to anyway? Okay, you can't. Your signal is very limited with your hand talkies. Okay, you're not going to have a repeater to hit. So why would you need it? Okay, just. Anyway, all right. All this being said and done, okay. I think we've hit this pretty good here. Right. You know, Air 4 is going to come sooner rather than later. June is knocking on
the tariff doesn't come with it, Bill.
Yeah, let's hope a tariff doesn't come with it. And Ron, I really don't think it will. I think this is a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of saber rattling. They're trying to get people excited about all this stuff, and then it'll just die a natural death.
It's more serious than ever. And Bill, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think it's more serious than ever, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to get into that drone advocacy alliance.
Oh, I agree 100% with that.
Let's do it. Let's make our voices heard.
You know, the big thing with this, and I can't emphasize this enough because I've done it before and it makes a difference, is to call after you fill that form out, which is a good thing. Okay, you need to call. Get your phone out, give them a call, okay? And tell them who you are.
Mr. Stefanik right now.
Yeah, you know, the problem is Ron has to call that Menendez, the guy that was taking all the bribes.
He's too busy in court to take my call.
Yeah, he's too busy.
Those gold bars they found in his house. I hope they weren't from the Stefanik or the drone lobbyists or whatever.
Could be. It could be. You don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, on a serious note, can I make an announcement before we get off the air here?
Absolutely.
My good friend Johnny Donefire and I talked today, and Johnny's not happy at all about this FPV drone update stuff. And Johnny wants to go live. We don't think Philly Mike's doing a show tonight, so we're going to pop on shortly. I don't know what channel to be on or exactly what time. Maybe out there wants to hear a deep dive into the FPV updates today and why certain things don't work with other things and whatever. Johnny's got it all covered here. So we're going live someplace or another.
On the Fly for Fun channel, I'm quite sure.
On the Fly for Fun channel. as soon as Johnny can get it all set up.
This is, again, I'm posting this, and I want to thank John for putting this in there.
Yes.
There's the link for droneadvocacyalliance.com. It's very self-explanatory, very easy to fill out. Please go out there. If you haven't done that, guys, if you do anything tonight, if you got one thing out of this show, go ahead, click on that link, fill out the form. It does it automatically, okay? There's really nothing for you to do. And I believe it will have your congressman's or congresswoman's phone number there. Call them up tomorrow, okay? And voice your concern.
So, Bill, let me expand on that a little bit. Does it help to put like a more personal note in there? In other words, explaining, hey, I'm a hobbyist drone flyer.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I said, I said, I'm a part one, I mentioned I'm a part 107 pilot, and I have a YouTube channel with a show on every week. Okay. And, I hit hundreds of people on a weekly basis, and I try to educate them about drones and about using drones for good. And, this is something I worded it. It was just a couple of sentences, but I added my own personal touch in there. And for those of you who don't want to do that, that's fine. But chances are really good if you add, Marcus brought up a great point here. If you add your own personal touch, say, my name is Bill, I'm a part 107 pilot. I also have a weekly show called Rotor Talk Live, where we go over all the top subjects in the drone industry right now. We focus on hobbyists. That's have a tendency what we have to focus on here. And it said it's a wonderful hobby, and it's also a very helpful hobby because it also has led to first responders, being able to rescue and save people through this. So, I flavored it something along those lines.
Right,
but if you can do that, okay. I highly recommend that.
Good.
So, all right, we're gonna. Any other quick things, guys, before we sign off?
I want to personally thank Ron Brown for letting me log on to Drone Nation yesterday and do a little show.
I heard you guys had a good show. Congrats.
Yep.
And we'll be back next Monday night with a regular show. I don't want to announce a guest yet, but I'm trying to get a certain man on, a man of interest, man of influence. Man. I'm trying to get two guys on, but I meant to email him today, but I will email him tomorrow.
Stay tuned.
All right. Well, guys, and I hope, and before we sign off, okay, I hope you guys remember what yesterday was all about, okay? And one of the things I do want to mention real quickly is there's a plaque on the cemetery, in the entrance to the cemetery at my parents' church, and it lists the name of, I believe, 6 or 7 servicemen who my dad knew very well, but they never made it back in World War II. And this is what yesterday was all about. Okay. I know we hit barbecues and, spend time with family, and that's always good, but remember that, and remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Bill, I was just reading yesterday that Memorial Day came about as a way to honor the fallen veterans of the Civil War.
Yes. And it was called Dedication Day. And it was actually on May the 29th, I believe.
Right. They moved it a little bit.
They moved it a little bit to be the last Monday of May. So, but I just want to take a moment and make sure all of you, have an understanding of that. And one of the things that Valerie and I do, we watch Saving Private Ryan every Memorial Day because it's a very sobering reminder that freedom isn't free.
Bill, what'd you watch Saving Private Ryan on? Where did it stream?
No, I on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. I want to watch it. I haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah,
and then the other movie, and I was telling Marcus about this, is that we saw was The Best Years of Our Lives. It came out in 1946. I don't know if have you seen that one?
The paraplegic won the Oscar. Who played in the movie.
They had a sweep at the Oscars. Go ahead, Marcus.
You've never heard of a sticky bomb?
Yes.
People that watch Saving Private Ryan know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And
All right,
I heard that new Pirates pitcher did real good his last time out. He struck a bunch of people out.
He's fantastic. Their bullpen isn't worth warm spit, though.
Well, at least you got a young phenom there pitching. Now you got to get the rest of the team going. Huh?
Well, what's going to happen is the owner's going to trade him for like 4 dried up prospects. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. As always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. Boom.